So, I've managed to claw my way past all of the idle incremental games that really wanted to drag me down into them today. But I was looking for something a little different, and I think I found it. This is horde-survival, and it is a Vampire Survivors style game, which is another game mode that I am very fond of. Now, this channel is about showing games that I think are really good, and this is, I think, a game that is good in its current state. But this is one of those games that I'm showing up that needs quite a bit of fine-tuning and polish and feature changes to become great. And I can see this potential, this feeling of a great game waiting there on the in the curtains, on the edge of the stage, waiting to step into it. And I wanted to play this a bit, show it off. The link will be in the description. Come and give it a game. But I also want to talk quite a bit about the things I don't like about it, and how I think it can be quite drastically improved. Right. So first of all, let's have a look at the how to play, which is just basically the keys. So it's WASD to move, left click to attack, right click to dodge in the direction that you're moving in. Shift converts energies, or you can use it to store energies for random upgrades. And I suppose you would then use Shift to upgrade essentially the souls that you pick up to develop powers rather than convert enemies. Well, let's jump in and I'll show off some gameplay, show you how it works, and we can talk about the things that I don't like after that. We can switch to the critique section. So, gonna hit play. So this is us. We are the green dot, and these red guys come and attack us out and hit us quite successfully. And we only have 4 hit points, as it were. And we died a lot. As you can see, the enemies swarm us quite a bit, and we have to try and move around. And I wasn't doing dodging there. And the thing is, if we hit retry, we start again at the beginning. Now, as you can see, in the top middle, there is a purple person thing. And if we wait until there are 2 enemies on the screen and we hit shift, we then convert them into being our friends, who will then fight things on our behalf. And then we can pick up souls, resources, and save up to convert more. Now the problems I have here, as you can see, is that we've already lost one of our friends, and one of the enemies managed to get a swing past us, and now we've run out, and the souls don't seem to be getting me. And I have run out of mana, so I can't fight effectively anymore, and I'm being swarmed. So that is in essence the gameplay. Let's play a couple more rounds to see. Now the problem is we're restarting, and there is no like upgrades or anything. Actually, if I hit E, so now I'm changing into something. Why? Okay, so Shift still converted them. But I'm not gaining anything. How am I? I don't quite understand what's happening here, actually. Oh, okay. So how was it working before? See, now I seem to be gaining sources, but what converted? I'm very confused as to what mode am I in. Am I in convert the enemies mode, because both modes seem to have given me enemies to convert. But this one seems to be giving me, when I pick up the souls, I gain resources to actually convert enemies. So, I am not quite sure what the logic here is. And some of these bad guys seem to be getting confused as to who they can attack. They're just standing still. Oh. The AI is getting confused, I think. Or running out of resources and lagging a bit. Alright, let us escape. And we'll let ourselves die in the background. So, I think that's all the gameplay I'm going to show. I think I've shown enough confusing gameplay there. I think the UI is fairly obvious as to what's going on. Sort of the health in the top left corner, mana just below that, XP just below that, but I don't know what the XP does. If I quit out of this, do I get a slightly calmer music? Yeah, right. So that's where we can talk. And then the on the right seems to be the souls that I'm collecting, and in the middle is the number of conversions that I've made. So the UI is fine. Tutorial is super sucky. It really is just the keys, yeah, I think it needs a lot more than that to explain the different ways of playing. I think there needs to be a tutorial level where you fight one enemy, and it shows you how to defeat the enemy, how to convert him, how to what the two different modes do, and how they progress you as a character and things like that, and what the XP and stuff like that does. So yeah, my strongest recommendation is a very, very comprehensive tutorial that shows you all of the details of the game. So this is a confusing game, let the player step into it knowing what the hell's going on. That I think would be very, very valuable. Otherwise the UI is fine. I think I understood everything on the screen. I didn't understand what it was all for and how it was progressing, and I think the tutorial would answer that quite a bit. The sounds are a bit leaning on the 8-bit-esque side. I would prefer deeper, chunkier sounds, as I always say in these videos. Give me something meatier, something that makes me think of combat, not like bloops in a computer game. But other than that, I think the sounds are fine. They tell you what's going on, and that's important with the sounds. None of them annoyed me. They just didn't satisfy me and immerse me enough. But yeah, so the sounds are fine. The art, this is a difficult one because I like the looks of the dots. It's very easy to figure out what's going on. I'm the green guy. All of the red dots are bad guys. All of the purple dots are my friends. You can play a game with dots like that. I think it would look better if they were animated, little mini figures that you were looking down on. And yes, that's obviously a much more, a much greater investment in time and budget and effort into making a game that looks like that. I don't think that's too necessary. One thing I didn't like is these sort of trees aren't actually there. You can just walk through them. And that confused me for a while. I was maneuvering around them while of course none of the enemies were, and that was making my life very difficult when I first started playing the game. You have to kind of ignore them and pretend they're not there. So I would remove the tree elements off the map, or make them blocks that you cannot walk through and cannot pass through, and you can actually run around to block the enemies a bit. But I gather there's some struggling logic there. The enemies are slowing down as more and more of them are on the screen. So maybe obstacles is messing with the AI a little bit there. Talking of which, I can walk off the edge of the screen. I can't move the screen around, that I could tell. None of the buttons seem to do that, so I can't see where I've gone. I can disappear off the edge of the screen. So either don't let me move off the screen, or let me move the screen so the screen moves with me, or something like that. I don't know. The sort of the map sizing versus the visual display is a bit off, and that can cause trouble. So maybe don't have that. Gameplay feeling, yeah, it's fine. It's a Vampire Survivors style game. I found that was quite comfortable. I liked the little dodge mechanic. I liked the brighter enemies who picked targets and maneuvered and all that kind of stuff. That was interesting. Yeah, from that side of things, the way the game flowed was quite comfortable. It was quite smooth, actually. I liked the speed and all of those kind of things. Obviously, the game mechanics messed with me a bit. The I possibly just because I wasn't playing very well, because I didn't really understand what was going on, but I very quickly got to the point where I was just overwhelmed and killed. And that's where I want to talk about the claim here in the itch.io page, claiming that this is a roguelite. And it's not really. A brutal game that kills you and takes you back to the beginning does not make it a roguelite game. You need progression. You need the death to be of value. And it's not a very well defined term, so there's some argument around this. But when I think most players read roguelite, they're expecting they have to go into it, they have to die, and their death will be meaningful in terms of the game mechanics, that they will carry upgrades through and be tougher next time, or they will be freeing resources that are then available for them to pick up next time and things like that. And there was none of this. This was just an old style arcade game where you die and you go back to the beginning and you just hopefully play better next time. So yeah, this is not a roguelite or your roguelike or anything you want to use. It's a Vampire Survivor style arcade game where your deaths just mean that you die. There's no progression that I could see. Maybe I was playing so badly that I didn't even get to the first level of progression, but I doubt that. If I am, then the game needs to be made easier, and there is balancing requirements. I think the player's health needs to be doubled, because I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be. I don't see why you need to die as quickly as you do, because you're not getting through to an upgrade tree any quicker, or anything like that. Like, where is the, why am I so fragile? Where is the gameplay value of that? It doesn't immerse me anymore. It just frustrates me. Does it say anything about progression or anything like here? Yeah, I think the only progression is the high score, and no, that's not a good progression. Games that give you a high score as the pure value to aim for are not games that have longevity to them, or compare much against the far more complicated games that are in the market at all levels now. So yeah, the game devs, I really do not recommend you make your game's progression about chasing the high score. That's not value. We can talk about the immersion a little bit. Obviously, I don't know anything about my character or the enemies or what we're fighting, who we're fighting, why we're doing any of this. We need a lot of that in a game like this, because RPG mechanics and things like that are wrapped around story. If you don't have a story, you don't really have an RPG. And then the idea of just magic and swords and sorcery is meaningless. Nobody wants to just be a guy in armor hitting things with a sword. People want to be the knight in shining armor saving the damsel in distress. We need these stories to step into an RPG and make it something that we get emotional contact from, get actual immersive gameplay experience from. Just the visuals in this game doesn't even really have the visuals. So I like the yellow rain here. There are no. There's no depth to it, and they could be very, very easily just with the addition of, in the game, not here in the itch.io page, in the game, adding some story. Who we are, why are we fighting, why are we fighting them, why are we being swarmed by these enemies, what is going on. So we need more of that. But I think the biggest thing, as I'm sort of circling back around to it, is the lack of roguelite elements, or the lack of understanding. So main criteria number one is get a tutorial in there. Make sure that the player, before he starts playing the game proper, so take him through a tutorial level, explain every single detail of the game and how to play it. Assuming he is an absolute idiot who doesn't know anything about playing games, start at the beginning. Make it a separate button here. Just make a tutorial button. Get rid of this how to play. Tutorial button tells him how to move with the keys, tells him how to fire, tells him how his mana comes back again. Introduce the first enemy, let him kill the enemy. Introduce two enemies, let him kill them and pick up the souls. Make that give him enough stuff to convert to the next enemy and then defeat the next one. Let his friend defeat the next one. Stuff like that. Make the tutorial take him step by step through everything. Show him what the XP is, show him what the souls counter is, and where that goes, where that gives him value. This is a submission to a game jam. just have a quick look and see where the game jam is at the moment. The game jam is still in its submission state, so this game is very, very new, and it's a game jam game. So I'm not talking about the game state at the moment. I'm talking about where this game can go and where it needs to go, and how it needs to make players happy, to become a better experience, a better game, a bigger game. And I think it can do that very, very easily. I think these are just major things that are needed. Yeah, and the second element is add that roguelite element in there. Have it when you die, that the XP is carried through and you can upgrade yourself and become better and tougher and things like that, and give us more map space, so we can move around in it and have these interactions. I mean, it's very interesting that you have these smart enemies that you're fighting against, as the stuff talks about here. You know, sort of enemies work together to create openings and surround you. Great, that's fantastic. It'll be a survivor's game with a little bit more intelligence behind it. That is something that I am very excited by. That I think is fantastic. But give us more gameplay around that. You know, give us the roguelike elements, give us the upgrades in between rounds, and all of that kind of stuff. Perhaps that's the goal here. Perhaps I'm jumping on this too early and going, you know, oh, why isn't this here, when it is the intention, and this is just out for the game jam as it is at the moment. And I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping I'm being a prat here and judging this from too early before it's gotten to us. But that is what I want to see. I want to see this a better, more interesting Vampire Survivor style game, with depth and sort of roguelike recurring systems. Also, what is this combo system? Chain your attacks together. I don't know, maybe it's to do, because there's supposed to be two routes that you upgrade your character through. There's the upgrading yourself and becoming a more powerful wizard, or getting better at converting the enemies and turning the enemies into your horde. And that's what I would like to see. I love this split, this challenge, these two different paths to go down. But I don't quite understand which one is which, or what to do then, and how to go down those paths. So I would like to see more of that. And that's it from me. That is the look at Wizard Survivor by Byte Bard. And thank you, Byte Bard, for presenting to us. I appreciate it. I'm probably going to try and play this some more. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.